Good morning and welcome to 2 Jeep Life. This is Bill, and today we're going to be taking some trails that are located in Marana, Arizona. We're going to take a back way out to the Saskco ghost town, and we're going to see some interesting things along the way as we make our way out and as we return back through some of the mountains that they have out here. So glad you could join us this morning. Hope you enjoy our little trip. So we have had some rains I'm going to say in the last week or so. So spots on this trail do have pools of water and mud. So it is pretty much caking up around the tires and flying off as I go over bumps and hit more dry spots. It's a lot of fun. We've come to a rather large hill here, and it is just covered with this lava rock. Not sure why it's here, but the hill's pretty expansive. If you ever make your way out on one of these trails, I highly recommend checking this out. Wouldn't mind having some of these rocks for landscaping in the front yard, but we can't do that. just about to the, I'm going to call the Saskco loop, and this is a heavily washboarded trail, and yeah, it's a bit rough, but I'll keep the video on. Hopefully it won't shake too much. But right now we're going to make our way over to the Rockford Hotel, or at least what's left of the Rockford Hotel, from the town of Saskco, I believe. Let's check it out. So we're at what is left of the Rockford Hotel. That was part of the town of Saskco. And unfortunately, people have tagged it with graffiti. Really pathetic. Still interesting. We are now on the back half, or the second half of the loop, making our way south at this point, back to our starting place. But this route is going to take us through some mountains that are just beautiful, and the views are beautiful, and I will show you those. Again, I highly recommend using Onyx Off-Road and just taking a look at just some of the trails that are out there. You don't have to look at named trails again. I'm just using roads that I could find. They're probably BLM lands, public lands, and there's just all over the place out here in Marana. Highly recommend it.
I've stopped at what I consider one of the prettiest spots on the trail. The view of the mountains around here are spectacular. I'll give you a pano in just a second. You'll be able to see Ragged Top Mountain. But the desert here is just, it's just magnificent. Like, other than hearing an airplane every once in a while, there's like no other sounds. So if there's any wildlife that make noise, you'll be able to hear it out here. It is just really spectacular just to look out and see the forest of saguaro cactus off in the distance.
Well, we just took a turn to the south. We're headed towards what'll be an area where there's a bunch of cattle that we have to open the gate and drive right through. I've had the cattle almost up at my window, which was quite interesting considering the fact that I had to open the door and go out and close the gate. But the cattle were moving in, so I closed the gate and jumped back in haste. And it was at that point one had gotten pretty close. But very cool area. This is really a great trail. Again, I can't emphasize it enough, and this video will not do it justice. You go through just a load of little washes. That brings a slight bit of technicality to the trail. There's rocky parts of the trail, there's smooth parts of the trail. There's plenty of desert foliage to look at. Great views. I can't highly recommend. I can't recommend this trail enough. That's kind of strange. The sign on the gate says keep this gate closed at all times. Q7 Ranch. However, the gate is open. So I like to leave things as I find them. So in this case, I'm not going to close this gate. I'd like to thank you for coming along with me today on this back way to Saskco. Again, it's a loop. It takes approximately 2 hours to complete, and that is 2 hours if you don't make any stops. If you stop to eat or walk around and take in the scenery, then obviously it's going to take longer than that. But it is a relatively quick but very enjoyable trail. Again, there's some technical spots in there. You go through a lot of little washes, and yeah, very enjoyable. Again, thank you. My name is Bill. This is 2 Jeep Life. Have a great day.